welcome back everyone to another About Teams video, and this is our MLB segment where we're going to be doing some award predictions end of the year. You know, we did our division standing predictions for what we think will happen at the end of the year, and we're going to kind of check in on those and we'll kind of update these. But you know, we've had about 6 weeks of baseball, so we have some MVP favorites, Cy Young favorites, Rookie of the Year, and maybe we'll give a World Series prediction, kind of look back, see who really knows the most baseball here. Should be exciting. Nick, why don't we start with the Rookie of the Year? You know, give a shout out to the rookie appreciation.
Yeah, gotta give love to the kid. Well, wait, no diddy. Hold on, we might have to restart that.
Nah,
I can't do that.
Yeah.
All right. Reset. So, yeah, Rookie of the Year. So for AL, this might come as a surprise to some people, but after seeing him for the first, month and a half be as dominant as he is, I'm going with Mason Miller, the closer from the Athletics. He came up as a starter. He was up through their system as a starter. You know, he was throwing maybe 98, but didn't have that much control. Wasn't really panning out to be much for a starter, like not nearly as dominant as he is now. So they move him to the bullpen. He's pumping 103 every other pitch, striking out more than 50% of the batters he's facing. And so if he keeps his pace, I think he could get Cy Young votes if he keeps his pace, because they do give love to the closers. They don't always win it, but I think with how dominant he's been on a team that really is kind of been left in the dust by not just the rest of the league, but by their own ownership, I think it's great to see a young player for them blossom like he has.
Yeah. I just want to say, Oakland Athletics fans who are listening, man, and enjoy him until July, because that boy is going to be a Dodger or Padre pretty soon.
or
any good player in the Athletics is getting traded. So Mason Miller, you will be on a contending team sooner rather than later. It's been great to see someone on the Athletics finally blossom in. I know they've gone through, obviously, one of the roughest times, team moving, Sacramento, then Las Vegas. But I thought Johan Duran was the fastest closer, and then Mason Miller came up, throws heat. Good to see that. Love guys that can do that. We obviously had the Chapman. Now we're kind of moving into the Mason Miller era of baseball. Exciting times. It's
always fun to see triple digits. It's always fun to see that 100.
So no matter what team, even if you're facing them, it's like, crap, that's dope to watch. So yeah, agree 100% there. And then your National League?
And NL, this one was kind of a toss-up for me because there's been some really good rookies. I mean, Shota Imanaga, the Japanese pitcher for the Cubs, who they just signed, he's been unbelievable. I got to see him in person at Fenway when he came and shut down the Red Sox.
Not that hard considering what we saw yesterday. But yeah.
He's in a dog the Red Sox segment. So anyways, I'll get back into it. But I wanted him to be my pick, but I just can't see him retaining.
Yeah, we
holding what he's done. So I picked Ellie De La Cruz. We saw him last year, how absolutely electric he can be. I think he has the potential to be a top 5 player in baseball with his speed, his bat, and his glove. I mean, he's a 5-tool player, which it's every team's dream to have that. I wish I could have somebody on that on the Red Sox who just bring eyes to your team just to watch this kid hit, watch this kid even run the bases. He's leading the league. He already has 21 stolen bases this year, which is ridiculous. I think he's on pace for like 80 or 90 at this point, which is insane to think. I know, with the pitch clock and the increased bases and stuff like that, obviously we saw inflated stolen base numbers last year. But I think if he keeps the pace he's on right now, he's easily going to win Rookie of the Year, especially if he brings the Reds even close to the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I agree with both of those. We've going back, we've seen a lot of rookies like pop up that are new, have these great starts, whether it be hitting or pitching for like the first 2 months, and that's kind of slow down. So it'll be interesting to see how he continues to progress with the Chicago Cubs, and then obviously Ellie De La Cruz for the Reds. It'll be he, like you said, he's a do-it-all kind of guy. So it's exciting to watch him. Just sells tickets, bringing because you want players that you want to like that are exciting to watch, and he is one of those players. So good man, because obviously the Reds were getting clowned a year or two ago for kind of how bad they were. Now they kind of have all this promise and are competing in the National League Central Division. So it's been great to see that. I agree with both of those.
Let's hear your MVPs. I want to hear your MVPs now.
All right, so moving to MVPs. So kind of went boring in the National League. Mookie Betts for me, former Red Sox player.
Same. That's who I picked too.
I mean, dude, he does it all. Average, power, fielding, just so crisp to watch. You still got that 2018 season.
Yeah, I can still watch it on YouTube whenever I feel depressed.
Yeah, but man, he is just so. It's just so clean to watch him play baseball. And the Dodgers, I mean, they're gonna win 100+ games probably again. They'll lose in the divisional round again, but the MVP award is a regular season. So shout out to Mookie, man. So fun to watch. Whenever I watch the Dodgers, he's always doing everything, getting on base, just power, contact, can do it, whatever you need to ask him. American League. I really wanted to just do Juan Soto, but that's vanilla, and I'm not vanilla pick. I'm going with Gunnar Henderson of the Baltimore Orioles. Saw what he did his first year. He's progressed even more this year. He's just a joy to watch, and he's a big reason why Baltimore is seen as one of the best teams in baseball. Him and Adley Rutschman just formed that young duo, but it's a whole young arsenal coming up. And so far, he's been balling out. And I think if the Orioles are able to get a top seed like they did last year, I mean, I don't see at least how he's not in the running. Obviously, he can hit for average. Already 11 homers on the year, showing off that power. And doing this all at 22 years old, man. Something special. So shout out to my boy Gunnar Henderson. Baltimore. Yep. Let's get it.
Yeah. Like I said, I picked Mookie too. He's unbelievable. He's a guy who any franchise would want, who you would pay any amount of money to have on your team because he impacts winning like no other player has. And I just wish the Red Sox had a guy like that. But, moving into the AL, I guess you can call me vanilla because I picked Juan Soto.
I'm not mad at it. I just, who knows?
Yeah, I picked him not only because of how insane he is as a hitter at, 25, 26 years old still. Like he's came into the league at 19 and was already an incredible hitter. But it's the impact he has on his team overall. Like we saw the Yankees pretty much with the same lineup last year, and they were mid. Like they had a Cy Young winner. I know Aaron Judge was hurt for a large portion of the year, and he still hit, I think, close to 40 home runs. But that team, won 84 games, missed the playoffs. Now, all of a sudden, Juan Soto comes in, and they're an absolute powerhouse. It seems like he's changed the culture of the Yankees to a much more winning culture. Like, it's just a different environment now. It's a different feel whenever the Yankees are playing. Like, we saw early in the year when he hit his game-winning home run against the Rays, and just Yankee Stadium was going absolutely nuts, and he was super hype. Like he seems happy to be there, and I won't be surprised if he signs some huge 10-year deal with the Yankees. And it's gonna hurt me. It's gonna hurt my soul to see them have a player like that. But
at least you get to watch him at the ballpark.
It's such a privilege to watch my team get their ass kicked. But yeah, those are my two picks. They're pretty basic. They're pretty, cliche, but they're cliche for a reason. It's because they're good.
So I not mad at those. Obviously, we had the same NL. Cy Young. I guess I'll go first this one.
Yep.
Or maybe I'll go first for the NL, and then you go first for the AL. NL. sleeper pick. Gotta support my former Twins. Sonny Gray is going to be my Cy Young pick. One thing I've talked about why I love him so much, just got that warrior mentality. Goes out there and just kind of puts fear into opponents' batters. In my opinion, last year, if he had more wins, he would have won the Cy Young. He just didn't have the wins. He only had like 8 wins, and I know wins isn't everything, but his ERA was right there with Garrett Cole's. It was he pitched so good, and this year he's only carried that momentum, and he's already at 4 wins, I believe. Obviously, his ERA is insane once again.
Even on the Cardinals, which is impressive.
On a
four
poverty
of their
Cardinals team.
10 wins.
Yeah, so that's really like 9 wins already. So if he just if he continues this, I don't know how he can. Obviously, he's not going to sustain this ERA he has, but it's just been a privilege to see him kind of. Obviously, we saw his days in Oakland. Then he kind of not fall off, but wasn't the same for a while. And then he got to Minnesota and kind of revamped his career those 2 years. And now he's just balling out, and it's good to see him, even not with the Twins anymore as a Twins fan. But he's my pick. I'm gonna go sleeper, not huge sleeper.
Okay, I can definitely see your standpoint. Like you said, I don't know.
0.89 ERA is crazy.
Yeah, in today's MLB, that's literally impossible to sustain unless he just stops playing, unless he just walks away right now and says I'm done. But he won't do that. But yeah, I can see that pick, but I don't think he can sustain it. But I do like that pick, sleeper
not
pick.
Even like sustain though, just like around 2 ERA if he did that throughout the whole season. I think because everyone's gonna have bad starts once we hit that June, July months, August. So it's just a matter of can he calm the storm down.
Kind of like my MVP picks, my American League Cy Young is a little cliche. I picked Corbin Burns from the Orioles. They traded for him this offseason, and he's been incredibly good so far this year. He's got 47 strikeouts already. He's a big strikeout guy, keeps his ERA low. He might have a blow-up start or two, but who doesn't? But yeah, on an Orioles team who, like we've been talking about really all year, can run that division. They dominated the division last year. I can see him racking up, 230 strikeouts, sub-3 ERA. He's already got a Cy Young under his belt with the Brewers, so he knows how to do it. But that's my pick. It's pretty basic. It's, but like I just said like I said for the MVPs, it's basic for a reason. It's because he's good.
Yeah, no, I pretty much had Corbin Burns my top 2. Just want to give a shout out to Cole Reagan's Kansas City Royals.
That's a sleeper pick. That's more of a sleeper pick than Sonny Gray. If that was your
I don't know. This one, there's just so many names you could really throw out. I didn't have an official one. I would say he's my sleeper, but I was leaning Corbin Burns as well. Maybe we'll see. Maybe, like we talked about on the Tigers, Skubal. He could be – there's so many. I guess, though, if I had to pick one, I was also going to go Corbin Burns.
It's the safe pick. It's the safe pick. It's the guy who you've seen do it before. So
Corbin Burns, great.
Yeah. Now going into my NL.
Yeah.
Going into my NL is probably my hottest take out of all of these, out of all of our picks. I went with Yoshinobu Yamamoto for my Cy Young from the Dodgers. I know he had a very, very, very rough first start when they played over in Korea. He gave up, I think, like 6 or 7 runs and maybe not. I don't even think he got out of the first inning. But ever since then, he's been lights out. I think he's posted sub 3 ERA. He's not walking anybody. He's striking a lot of guys out. He's not giving up homers. And I think he's pitching much more to what they're paying him. And that's still a lot to live up to because of how much money they gave him. But he's 25 years old. I think it's awesome to see all these Japanese pitchers coming into the MLB and dominating. It kind of shows how well they develop their pitchers in Japan. We see it with Otani, Imanaga. We've seen it in the past with guys like Tanaka, but I think Yamamoto, I think he is a guy who can sustain this sort of where he's at. And on the Dodgers, any pitcher is going to rack up 12 to 15 wins if you're throwing strikes.
If we're talking Dodgers too, I would also put Tyler Glasnow's name in there.
Yeah, he was my other one, but the thing is with Glasnow is he is always an injury risk. Like, I don't think he's pitched a full year in a while, but if he does pitch a full year,
that's the biggest thing with him is health.
Because he's interesting. Yep.
And then I also want to give just one more shout out to my twin Joe Ryan. He's such a I love watching him pitch baseball.
Sox handed him that fat L.
Something about him, man. Maybe it's the hair, but he just throws clean baseball. A lot of strikeouts. One of the biggest problems with him is sometimes he can give up the long ball, but if he can just keep that ERA around like the low 3s, high 2s, just a lot of strikeouts. You never know what can happen if some pitchers get mashed. He's one of my favorite to watch play. And then,
he's dominant. He's dominant. I mean, that was the first time every time before the last game when the Sox beat him.
You're celebrating 3 runs. It's like not even that much, but that's another. Well, that's the bullpen.
But yeah, he's dominated. Every time I've watched Joe Ryan pitch, he's dominated. So I'll give him a shout out. He's a guy I'd want on my team. He's a guy I'd want.
Playoff Pablo.
Let's get into our World Series predictions. So I'm interested to see your.
Yeah.
So I'll let you go first.
All right, I'm going first. I think it's going to be my National League pick, the team that's hit a wall the past couple of years. But I think if they get hot at the right time, and I think it's honestly a good thing that they're not necessarily clicking all right now because they're not going to peak now. And I think they can peak later down the line. I'm going to go with the Atlanta Braves. I think that lineup is just too good, and they've disappointed the last 2 seasons for too long. And it's just something about the Dodgers I just don't trust.
Yeah, I don't think Dodgers fans do.
Yeah, no. So Dodgers, they're going to win. They're going to do their thing, but I don't know. That's also just too boring for me because everyone picks Dodgers every year and they lose. It's going to be the Braves or the Phillies for me, but I feel like the Braves eventually one time just have to beat that giant, which is their kryptonite, the Phillies. And I think once they do that, they'll be able to get past anyone. And I think they can. And then my American League team, just a team that it's just, I think they got their playoff punch last year. They got some experience under their belt. The Baltimore Orioles, they're just so good up and down, and adding a Cy Young like Corbin Burns to this playoff rotation for a Game 1 starter. I love the Baltimore Orioles, one of the most exciting teams to watch. Young, fun. Last year, obviously, a 1 seed. They got swept by the eventual champion Texas Rangers that kind of no one expected. But that's the thing. One team can just get hot at the right time. I think Baltimore kind of learned from that. And it was embarrassing to see, to just get swept as the 1 seed. And I think the regular season, they don't care about that anymore. They want that playoff baseball again. And I think this year they're more ready for it. And I think they're going to be battle tested. And they're also my World Series champions right now. If
Orioles?
The playoffs were to start today.
Orioles are your World Series champion pick?
Orioles over the Braves in 6 games.
Well, they say great minds think alike because I had Phillies, Orioles, with Phillies winning in 6. I think the Phillies are a team that they got to taste.
Phillies or Braves for me in that NL.
Yeah. The Phillies are a team that got a taste of the World Series a few years ago, but just ran into a buzzsaw rotation that was the Astros. They kind of, ran into the team of destiny last year against the Diamondbacks, but I think the Phillies get back this year, and I think the inexperience of the Orioles is going to hurt them going into the World Series, and also just the fact that Philly is like, I think right now it's probably the hardest playoff environment to play in. And that's a big, big reason why the Braves can't get by Philly. And I can't see them doing it again this year. It's just,
it will be interesting, but eventually you got to break through that wall, and eventually we've seen it multiple times where you just kind of beat that kryptonite. I mean, different sport, but Jordan with the Pistons, you just got to eventually just beat them, and hopefully the Braves can. Or maybe
shout
the
out
Phillies.
NL East, though. Shout out to the NL East powerhouse.
Yeah, maybe another team picks Philly off in an upset that we didn't expect. So yeah, we're kind of around the same ballpark.
Yeah.
It was either Philly or Braves for me. We both had Orioles. Sleeper team in the American. I mean, I don't want to. I'm going to be a homer here because if I wasn't, then no point doing this podcast. I think we started last year. Twins beat the Blue Jays, then take the Astros to. They lost that series 3-1. But their lineup is built for the playoffs if they're healthy. If you have Royce Lewis, Carlos Correa, Byron Buxton, Edward Julien, and I think they got a solid starting 3 to 4 playoff pitchers. Obviously Papa Lopez, we've seen what he's done in the playoffs. Joe Ryan, if he's healthy, and that third spot is you got a little bit of everyone. Chris Paddock, the last 2 starts, he's played pitch yesterday against the Mariners. Yeah, he can give you a go. We've seen a rookie, Simeon Woods Richardson, do his thing, or even like a Bailey Ober. You just got solid pitching depth, and then that bullpen. I know we've talked about before. If you get into like the 7th, 8th inning, when you got Griffin Jacks and Brock Stewart in like his 2 years as the Twins, 7th inning relief pitchers allowed 3 runs. And then Johan Duran in the 9th. That's just it's a formidable team that could be a sleeper if things go right. Like if that lineup is clicking. And in 2019, I loved this offense, and we're kind of seeing some of that come back with players like Max Kepler that had 36 bombs that year. It got MVP votes, and now he's at a 320 average, just hitting the ball really well. If we could just get a semblance of that offense and this pitching staff, could be a surprise team, in my opinion. I don't even think it's a homer take necessarily, but
I can see that. I can see the Twins taking them to the ALCS against the Orioles.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I think they have one of the deeper staffs and more complete teams in the AL.
Yeah.
Obviously, teams like the Mariners have a really good staff, but I can't see their offense.
Yeah, that offense.
If those two matched up, I think the Twins would just outscore them. Even getting 3 runs, which is a big feat against that rotation, I think it would be enough. Just because I think the Twins rotation shuts down.
Yeah, we saw because the Twins are playing a 4-game series right now. Twins, I think, are up 2-1 the series with another game today. We saw in game 1 though, both teams. Twins only got 4 hits and then won that game by only scoring 3 runs. So yeah, like you said, Mariners just don't have the offense. I know the second game they put up 10, but that's because eventually when you can't pitch Jacks, Duran, and you have to go to other guys, the Mariners do have the ability to hit. It will be interesting to see if maybe that comes around because once again we're only 6 months into the season, but it's an exciting time.
How about a little bonus? Who you got for your World Series MVP?
I don't want to sound like a Gunnar Henderson Glazer, so I guess I'll go Adley Rutschman.
Okay, I mean, I picked Harper. I think if the Phillies ultimately
if the Phillies win,
if the Phillies win the World Series, I mean, he's going to be the guy that wins it for them. And or another one a sleeper one could be Alec Boehm. I mean, he's unbelievable right now.
Could be Alec Boehm. Wouldn't be bad.
You never know. You never know who gets hot. We saw
that's the beauty of it.
Even with the Red Sox, Steve Pearce wins World Series.
Legend.
Where is
Maybe
Steve?
they should bring him back. Try and get him. Give him a
They
call.
did bring him back. They signed him to a 2-year deal right after he won.
Now though, run it back now. See what he's got.
He'd probably be better than the first baseman we got with Casas out. But
yeah,
I
It's
won't
rough,
call him.
but you never know what can happen. Maybe a surprise, but yeah. So that kind of will wrap up our early season
Very, very early.
predictions, end of the year predictions. Let us know if you agree, disagree, who was right. Probably me. But
Okay.
thank you guys all for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.